Do you want to stay more focused on the right goals in your life, or even just figure out what the right goals are for you? Do you want clarity? Do you want better work-life balance? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Success Through Failure.
Welcome to the Success Through Failure podcast, the show that reveals failure as your path to success. You'll listen to intriguing interviews with some of the most successful people on the planet and learn how their failures became a launchpad for success and how yours can too. Here's your host, former Division I All-American wrestler, former Division I head coach, speaker, and personal coach, Jim Harshaw.
Welcome to another episode of Success Through Failure. This is your host, Jim Harshaw, bringing you another solo episode today. And here's why. We all have those days where we just don't feel like it. We don't feel like getting going. We don't feel like we got it. We're having a slow day. We're not productive. And we're just not feeling it, right? You ever have one of those days? That happened to me just a week ago. And that's what prompted this episode. So imagine this. I'm getting into my car. And my neighbor's walking past, walking his dog. And he says, "Man, Jim, I'm dragging today." And I looked at him and I said, "Me too." And that was my first mistake, saying me too, because I just agreed with the mindset and I verbalized that basically I'm going to have a bad day, right? And I'm going to start off my day wrong. And that was my first mistake, right? The poor self-talk, and I just bought into that mindset, and I did. I was already feeling sluggish. I'd actually woken up early, and that guy was part of this workout group that I do, these F3 workout groups, and so he and I had worked out at 5:30 in the morning, and it was a hard workout, and sure, yeah, it was easy. Actually, we woke up at 5 to get there at 5:30, and it was easy to buy into I'm gonna be tired today, I'm gonna be sluggish today. And so I did, right? I bought into this. I jumped in my car, driving to the office, and I realized, listen, I can't do that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to buy into this. I'm not going to go down this slope of having a bad day, of having a tired day, an unproductive day. And so this is what I did. I pulled over at a gas station, found a parking spot kind of off to the side, and I said, I'm fixing this. I am going to set myself up and get myself into the right mindset and the right physical feeling so I have an awesome day. And so I pulled over, and this is kind of the process that I went through. Number one, I relaxed I only had a few minutes, so I set my alarm for 3 minutes, and I just relaxed for 3 minutes. I closed my eyes, I leaned my seat back, and I did this technique that actually Dr. Gilbert talks about. Dr. Gilbert, who hosts the Success Hotline, I've had him on this podcast way back in episode 33. And by the way, I'm gonna share a bunch of different podcast episodes here. I'm gonna just reference other podcast episodes. You can go back and listen to those if you're interested in that particular topic that I'm going to talk about throughout this episode. And by the way, if that episode that I mentioned is more than 100 episodes back, this is episode 198. But if it's more than 100 episodes back from the most recent episode, it won't be on iTunes. So if you're listening on iTunes, you have to. You can go to my website and listen to it. There's a podcast player there, but you can just go to jimharshawjr.com/ whatever the number is, jimharshawjr.com/33, for example, for this episode with Dr. Gilbert. But anyway, so I relaxed for 3 minutes, and this is what Dr. Gilbert suggested. And this wasn't on his that podcast episode, but I heard him talk about this another time, is where you just do this relaxation method where you relax every part of your body. You go from your legs up to your head, and you just do a 5 count. And there's this instant relaxation. And you go, take a deep breath, and on your out breath, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you say 5, you relax from your knees down. When you say 4, you relax from your knees to your waist. When you say 3, you relax from your whole torso. And when you say 2, you relax your arms. And when you say 1, you relax like your neck up. So I did this like instant relaxation, right? So I did the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I relaxed for 3 minutes, just closed my eyes and just let my body just completely melt, right? Just get relaxed. And I almost fell asleep, right? But I didn't, but it was like this real deep relaxation for just a few minutes because that's all I had. And then here's what I did next. I said my mantra. I shared my mantra. I said my mantra, right? Out loud, outwardly. And I'm going to share my mantra here in a little bit because I want to tell you a little bit about mantras. And then the next thing I did is I did some deep breathing. Just 3 or 4 deep breaths. In through my nose, out through my mouth. In through my nose, out through my mouth. Real deep breaths, right? Just really getting some oxygen deep into my lungs. Then I started driving and pulled out of the gas station, started driving towards my office. And then I listened to the Success Hotline on my drive. And if you haven't heard of the Success Hotline, I get Dr. Gilbert. He's awesome. Episode number 33. But the Success Hotline, you can just Google the phone number. Actually, I don't have it on me right now, but I'll have it in the action plan. So just go to jimharshawjr.com/action. I'm going to reference a bunch of different things, like including different podcast episodes. So you can go to the action plan to get a list of all those podcast episodes, or I'll have the phone number in there for the Success Hotline, which is just, you can just Google it and you'll find it. But he has left a short motivational message every day since 1992. Yeah. Talk about consistency. All right, then the next thing. So I listened to Success Hotline. I've got it programmed into my phone. I just press my steering wheel and the button on my steering wheel and say, call Success Hotline. And magically my phone calls Success Hotline. So it's the easiest thing in the world for me to do every day. And then I prayed. And then I practiced my self-talk. And this was big. This was really important to shift my mindset out of like, yeah, I'm dragging today too. I shifted my mindset to, I feel good today. I'm energized. I'm so excited for the day. I said what I was grateful for out loud. I'm so grateful for this day. I'm blessed to have this day. And so I shifted my self-talk. And then whenever I sat down at my desk, whenever I finally got to my office and I sat down at my desk, I did a productive pause. I said, okay, Jim, what's important now? W-I-N. What's important now? And I identified what my most important things were for today, the things that I wanted to get done today, that I knew if I just got these things done today, it would be considered a win. It would be considered a good day. I identified those, wrote those down on my list, my to-do list, and then I did something I call the Nicotra technique after my late brother-in-law who taught me this. And I transferred everything from my online, my electronic to-do list, which I have an app, and it's also on my desktop. It's called Asana, A-S-A-N-A. I love it. It's the easiest tool that I've found for maintaining my to-do list. You can drag and drop things into different categories and different orders. And so I put everything in Asana, and then I take just the things I think I'm going to get done today, the 15 or 20 things I was going to get done that day, and I hand wrote them out on a notebook, and then I numbered 1 through 20 or whatever the number was. And then I put my hand on the list, closed my eyes, and I visualized myself just working through the day, just crushing it, going from task to task to task without checking email in between, right? But I visualized myself just having a super productive day. And then I visualized myself getting distracted or getting interrupted and visualized myself going right back into my work. So I visualized this, right? And when I was done with that, the very first thing on my to-do list was to journal. Just how I'm feeling, do a little more positive self-talk through journaling. And that was it. I was off and running. I had an amazing day. It wasn't just an average day. I had this amazing day. I got so much done. I felt so good. It was the weirdest thing. Like I thought I feel tired. I feel sluggish. I started myself off this wrong way. I got a poor night's sleep that night. But I remember going through the day feeling like, my goodness, I feel really good. I feel extra good. Not just like, I thought I would be able to get myself back up to like normal, back up to average. But holy cow, I like leapfrogged that. And I just had this great day, super productive day. I just felt good, felt positive. And I realized like These are the things that you need to do consistently. And now most of this, to be honest, is part of my morning routine, like Success Hotline, prayer, saying my mantra. Maybe it's not the Nicotra technique, but I always do some kind of productivity technique most days. I don't journal every day. But anyway, I do a lot of this stuff on a regular basis. And that's why I get so much done. People ask me all the time, how do you get so much done? Like, you must not sleep. But I do. I get 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep every night. But I work, right? I'm productive. I'm locked in. I'm focused. And these are the things that help me. And I want to help you with these too, because I know where you're at. I know you feel like you have more in you. I know you feel like, you're leaving too much on the table. And if you can just get more discipline, just get more focused, just be more consistent, just get that motivation to do the things that you know you need to do to get to where you want to go. And that's what I want to help you with today. So I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways to start your day, even a couple that I haven't talked about here so far, but I'm going to give you a few different things that are going to help you turn one of those meh kind of days into an awesome day, right? And like I said, I'm going to reference a bunch of different podcast episodes. You can grab the action plan for this episode 198. Just go to jimharshawjr.com/action. You get you'll be able to download the PDF action plan from this, which will have all this list of bullet points of what I'm going to talk about here. And that's also going to have a list of all of the podcast episodes that I'm referencing. So you can check that out as well. You can listen to those other episodes, or if you want, you can just reference and grab the action plans for those episodes. So once you download this action plan or get access to this action plan, you'll have access to all the other action plans as well. So, all right, are you ready? Here we go. Again, we got a dozen. I know episode 197, we had a dozen things as well, but here we go. We've got a dozen ways to turn a slow, sluggish day, one of those days where you don't feel like getting going, how to turn one of those days where you don't feel like getting going into an awesome day. How to get going on the days where you just don't feel like it. All right, here we go. Number one, some of these are going to be obvious, okay? So number one, coffee. I'm just going to throw that one out there, man. Make sure you're fueled up. If you don't drink coffee, man, bless you. God bless you. But just get some fuel in you, right? Get some coffee in you. I don't drink a ton of coffee, but I drink a cup in the morning, cup in the afternoon. I usually don't even drink full calf. It's usually half calf or a little bit more than half calf when we mix it at home. But anyway, start out with some fuel, right? Get some coffee in you. Next, water. Water every day. I start every day out with water. And that's what I did when I got to my office was on that day is I made sure I drank a lot of water. I actually didn't tell you that. I didn't mention that in my sort of routine that I went through that morning, but I did. I made sure I got some extra water in me because I'd worked out that morning. It was a hard workout, and just get some extra water in you, right? Your body can almost always use more water. I mean, you wake up dehydrated. I'm a wrestler, was a wrestler, still identify as a wrestler, I guess. But I don't know if you know, but if you step on the scale before you go to bed, wake up, use the restroom, step on the scale before you put anything else into your body, you lose several pounds overnight. Usually we call it drifting, right? You drift a couple of pounds overnight, and that's just water weight, right? It's just when if you go to the bathroom in the morning, it's whatever comes out of your body, but also in addition to that, it's just your body just burns, just burns stuff off, and you lose, again, almost, it's almost all water, but you lose water just by breathing, right? If you breathe onto a mirror, there's steam, right? So that moisture is coming out of your body every time you breathe. So you dehydrate overnight. So make sure you fuel up. If you work out in the morning, double make sure you fuel up with water. That's number 2. Number 3 is diet. Eat healthy stuff. Don't put crap into your body and wonder why you feel like crap. If you want to be more productive, you want to be more focused, but you're starting your day with a 7-Up and a donut, then I think it's pretty obvious what you got to shift, right? If you can start your day with 7-Up and a donut and you feel good, then more power to you, but most people can't, right? Get something good in you. Be honest, I've been doing intermittent fasting for, a year or so. And I just do bulletproof coffee in the morning. It's black coffee I just put butter in it. I think you can also put MCT oil in it. But I do the grass-fed, unsalted, grass-fed organic butter, and it's awesome. It's like my morning meal. So I don't know if it's technically intermittent fasting, but I don't feel like I need to eat until about noon or even afternoon. But whatever it is, you've got to get the right fuel in you, right? Eat a healthy meal that day. If you're doing intermittent fasting, that's how I feel like I'm on rocket fuel. Whenever I don't even need to eat anymore. Body doesn't need as much fuel as we think it does, right? All right, so that's number 3. Next one. Get back to your routines. Get back to your routines. If you break your routines, you're out of your routines, you're out of your rhythms. You've got to get back into those. Like, athletes know that they have a peak performance routine, right? They have a peak performance routine. And, it's like warming up, maybe certain foods, different things that they do, music they listen to, whatever it is. They have these routines that put them in a peak performance state. What are yours? If you don't have them, you need to create them. Episode 129, I talk about routines. I talk about creating your morning and evening routines. Episode 129. Check it out. Figure out your routines. I gave you a bunch of mine already. But this helps put you in a peak performance state. And a lot of people, here we are, we're going into the summer when I'm recording this, and you go on vacation and you get out of your routines. Then you come back from vacation and it's hard to get back into your routines. You've got to lock back into those routines. Episode 129, I talked more about how to create those routines. I told you about my peak performance routine that morning. A lot of those things are part of my regular routines anyway, but you got to have those routines. All right, next one. Number 5, journal. Journal. Sit down and start writing. Either handwriting in a journal or typing in a journal. I can type faster than I can write, so I type into just a Word document that I save, and that's my journal. But coach yourself. Tell yourself to suck it up if you need to. Tell yourself you're just making excuses, if that's what you need to tell yourself. Or if you got a real challenge you're facing, coach yourself through it. Encourage yourself. Give yourself reasons why you can. This is just practicing self-talk. This is just taking the subconscious and bringing it to the conscious level. You can journal, you can free-form journal, or you can use something like the 5-minute journal, which is great. I recommend that. I'm actually creating a version of my own Pathfinder's journal that is a little different than the 5-minute journal, but that's a huge part of your morning routine. If you need to get yourself out of a slump that you feel like you're in, or one of those days where you just don't feel like getting going. All right, next one, gratitude. I know you're saying, Jim, I've heard this a million times. It's just so big. Yeah, it's the basics. It's the fundamentals. Fall in love with the fundamentals. I do a whole episode on this, episode 118. Gratitude. Do it. Practice it. Try it. Try it right now. I've got a glass of water sitting right here in front of me. You know what? I'm grateful that I've got clean. I can turn on my faucet in my kitchen or in multiple rooms in my house and just have clean water come out of it. How many millions, billions of people around the world don't have that? A couple guys who are former student athletes at my alma mater, Chris Long, played for the Philadelphia Eagles, just retired actually, and Malcolm Brogdon, basketball player, plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. He was a Rookie of the Year, superstar for the Cavaliers back in a few years ago. These guys are both building well. They're raising money to build wells in Africa because these people, they don't have water. They don't have clean water. They have to go get out of rivers. Not us. Just turn on the faucet. They clean. I'm great. I'm so grateful for that. Right? What else are you grateful for? Do you have a car? That's awesome, right? You got a car. You can get around. You can go wherever you want. You got a few bucks in the bank? You got some money? Be grateful. Actually feel like, man, what if I didn't have this? I'm so excited to have this. And sometimes we don't, if we we lose something or and then we get it back or we just get something, we're so excited, right? Like we get a new car. You're like, man, this is so awesome. I'm so happy. What about like 6 months later? Can't you like experience that same happiness like 6 months later? I know it wears off, but like you can actually feel the gratitude of like, wow, I've got this car. I got this new car. You can create that feeling of gratitude in you and excitement and happiness. And that's a fundamental. All right. So number 7, that was 6. Number 7, meditate. Meditate. Stop, hit the pause button on your life and meditate. There's a great quote. It says, you should meditate something like this. It's like you should meditate for 20 minutes a day. Unless you're too busy, then you should meditate for an hour. Meditate. Just stop. And sometimes it's just that 3 minute or that 1 minute pause, right? Where you just do that relaxation technique and you just kind of just slow down. Feel yourself. Feel your body. Feel where you're at. And be present in the moment. Meditate. And I'm actually going to interview a guy named Dean Sluyter, who wrote the book Natural Meditation, as well as some other books. Natural Meditation was recommended to me by one of my clients. And man, great book. I recommend it. But I'm going to have him on the podcast. He's going to teach us. He's going to talk to us about meditation, how to meditate. I remember that question, like how do I meditate? This is such a good book for that. But now, so I'm going to have Dean Sluyter on the podcast here. Probably it'll be in early 200s. We already got it scheduled, so it'll be coming up here in the next few episodes. And all right, next one, 8, is have a mantra. Have a mantra and state your mantra. If you're one of my clients listening to this, you've got your mantra. You did the work. You created the mantra. Benefit from it. It's going to bump you up just a little bit every day. Here's how my mantra goes. I say this out loud. I say, today is a great day, and I'm attacking it with intensity and focus while enjoying my relationships and my blessings along the way. I'm on a journey of greatness. God walks with me, and I've built my wealth along the way. I am stronger, smarter, and more poised today than I've ever been before. Let's do this. That's it. That's my mantra. When I say that and I feel it as I say it, man, that puts me in a different state. You should have your mantra too. And I actually, in the Reveal Your Path program, I actually walk you through how to create, like it's a formula, how to create your mantra. All right, number 9, productivity techniques. Use some of these techniques. In episode 180, I share a handful of those, but there's a bunch of them, and I've talked about these. Actually, there's a whole list. If you download the action plan, you'll also have access to a bunch of other resources in addition to the action plans. And one of them is 18 ways to get and stay focused. And it lists a bunch of these different productivity techniques. I already told you about the Nicotra technique. There's the Pomodoro technique. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it. It's basically 25 minutes of complete 100% undistracted time. You don't check your phone. You don't answer the phone. You don't check email. Nothing. And then you take a 5-minute break. Anyway, you can read. Then there's the Harshaw technique. I call it the Harshaw technique because I've never heard anybody else talk about it. And it's basically this. You set a recurring timer that goes off every 15 minutes or so, plus or minus 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. And it just beeps, right? And then the timer automatically resets. And what that does is it's a little reminder to you of are you on task? Did you go down a rabbit hole on the internet? Are you on social media? Or are you locked in? Are you focused? So that's just another productivity technique. But anyway, share a bunch of those in that document. If you get access to the action plans, you can also get access to this document. It's just 18 ways to stay focused. I don't recommend you try all 18. I recommend you try 1 or 2, right? Start small. And here's the next one. Number 10, exercise. If you don't have time, just do something small, something short. Do a set of burpees. Episode 91, I interview Dr. Martin Gabala. He is the world leading expert in high intensity interval training. talks about he has a book called The 1 Minute Workout. And we actually talk about it. I actually ask him in the episode, I'm like, can you really get a workout in 1 minute? He's like, it was a great title for the book, but the truth of the matter is we have shown in his research, they've shown that you can get benefit from a way where you actually do this 1 minute workout. It's actually longer than 1 minute technically, but it's like 20 minutes of just all out sprint, and then you relax for a couple minutes, and then another 20 seconds, and then relax, and then 20 seconds. So it's actually 1 minute of actually work, but they've actually shown improved fitness just through just if you do these minimum sort of minimal workouts. So anyway, get some kind of workout in. Do a set of push-ups, right? If you can do a full workout, that's better. But like even if you don't have time to do that, just get your body moving. All right, next one, number 11, deep breathing. As I told you, I did that on that morning a week ago when I was just not feeling it, and just get that oxygen deep into your lungs. It's amazing. Like if you do just 3 deep breaths, you kind of get lightheaded, right? But that's all the oxygen pumping into your system. So deep breathing, it just feels so good to kind of open your lungs up. And you can do this. I do this several times throughout the day, right? You can do it in the morning. You start getting that sluggish feeling after lunch. Do some deep breathing. And then last but not least, visualize. Visualize. This is probably the most important one. Visualize your day going well. Visualize yourself being productive. It's part of the Nicotra technique, but you can do this separately too. Just visualize. Imagine your day going really well. Feel what it's going to feel like at the end of your day when it goes really well. Maybe you have a big sales meeting or a meeting with your boss, or you've got a lot of work on your plate or a big project. Feel what it's going to feel like at the end of the day to have an awesome, awesome day. I encourage you to visualize, and you can just sit down. You can do this, for a minute. Shoot, 30 seconds sometimes works. So I encourage you to try one of these 12. Okay, so there's 12 things here. Don't try to do them all. Try one, try two. Maybe you already do a couple of these. I would gather that you probably do. Be willing to bet that you probably do a couple of these. If you're listening to this podcast, certainly if you're one of my clients, I know you're doing some of this stuff. But the next question is like, how do you do this consistently? Because that's the key, right? Don't just do this on the days where you don't feel good. Do it every day. So you go from good to better or good to great. And that's what you want. You want to perform at a high level every day. These need to be part of your peak performance routines. And I talk in episode 142 about consistency, how to be consistent, whether it's in your diet, whether it's in executing your routines, whatever it is, your relationships, how to be consistent. Again, that's episode 142. I've rattled off a bunch of different podcast episodes, so I encourage you to grab the action plan. Go to jimharshawjr.com/action. And by the way, before I recorded this episode, it's 6:40 in the morning. I started recording at around 6 a.m. Got up at 5:30. And I put myself into a state where I got myself excited to record this. It's not the thing that I want to do first thing in the morning, wake up and just start talking to you guys. I got to get myself going first, right? So I did that. Drank a bunch of water, did some deep breathing, visualize you. I'm visualizing you. You're on the treadmill or you're working out right now, or you're driving right now, you're on your commute. I'm visualizing you. And yeah, you can smile because I'm talking to you. And I visualized you. I thought about you. I thought from my heart, how am I going to connect with you? And I hope I did. I hope I did that. I hope I achieved that in this episode, because this is for you. I had an experience that I really benefited from. I really learned from a week ago. I wanted to share that with you and then really give you some tactics so you can get those same benefits. So I encourage you to check this out. I encourage you, if you want to go deeper on any of this stuff, let's have a phone call. Just grab a time on my calendar. Go to jimharshawjr.com/apply. And you can apply for just a free coaching call with me. It's not a sales call. It's just a time for you to get some clarity on your life, I love connecting with people on these, and it gives me ideas for new podcast episodes. I love connecting. So you can grab a time on my calendar. If you benefited from this. Share it with one person. Just tell them jimharshawjr.com/198, or check out the Success Through Failure podcast, episode 198, or you can go to jimharshawjr.com/share. And there's just some quick share links there. You can post it on social media, just one click, and the post is already written for you for a tweet or a Facebook post or a LinkedIn post. But if you got benefit from this, I ask that you maybe just share it with one other person, however you want to do it. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. I look forward to talking to you again soon. And as always, until next time, take the time to get clear on your goals and embrace failure as a stepping stone on your path to success.